Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. This is the last video in a four-part series documenting my experience finishing my first year at Cambridge University. As a bit of context, my name is Verice and I'm currently studying psychological and behavioral sciences, which is a fancy name for psychology, and so we call it PBS. I've left this topic for last because I think it's one that everyone kind of thinks about in the back of their minds, but not a lot of people talk about it, especially not on YouTube. And that is relationships, dating, being in a relationship, and specifically what is kind of like dating and being in a relationship at Cambridge. So, unfortunately, the hard truth is that it often doesn't work out. A lot of people start dating in their first term, which is what we call Mikobis. And it seems to be going really well. You know, you've been dropped into a new environment full of people your age, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and you know, there are people there who are really attractive. And you get along, you've got great chemistry, you start going out, and then Christmas hits. So Cambridge terms are really short. They're 8 weeks long, which means that you finish in the first week of December, usually like the 5th or the 6th of December, and you only go back to university on like the 20th or the 21st of January. And so you can kind of imagine how really short relationships that start in the first term don't last in the next. So again, I'm not saying don't get into a relationship, but that's something to be aware of. That a lot of people are lonely, they're still trying to figure themselves out in their first term. And so, yeah, go for that person that you think is cute, but don't set your hopes on that person and know that things will kind of change from the first term to the second term. When you all come back, you've all had a little taste of Cambridge and how intense it feels, then gone home to see the contrast, and then coming back kind of brings you a new perspective. And so that's something to keep in mind. The second hard and not great truth is that a lot of long distance relationships from home often don't work out. I had around 9 friends who were in long distance relationships at the start of university, and by Valentine's Day, 8 out of the 9 of them had broken up. And they're not great statistics, especially when they, like, 4 of them broke up during Valentine's Day, like that week. That wasn't like a very happy time for a lot of people. But I think the reason why this is the case and why it's so much more common at Cambridge and Oxford is just because it's so different. You come in, it's a bubble. Basically, anyone that you pass by on the street in the center of Cambridge is another student. Everyone's wearing puffers, so it's basically like a kind of weird apocalyptic Hogwarts style, because you see someone, you're like, oh my god, you're from Peterhouse, I don't like you. Or, joking by the way, or like you see someone, you're like, oh, you're a second year, oh, you're a third year, or I'm a Natsky, what the heck is a Natsky? Oh, I'm going to Mainsbury, what's Mainsbury? Like, people here speak a lingo that no one else speaks, and people here do things that no one else does, like supervisions, like what are supervisions? And it's just very difficult to have all these new experiences that someone from home can't relate to. And so I've personally experienced this. A lot of my friends have also gone through it. That's not saying it can't work. You know, that one person who's still in a long distance relationship is going strong, but it's something to be aware of that a lot of times it doesn't. And now, what's dating like at Cambridge itself? It's interesting. Like a lot of other universities, you know, hookup culture exists. Going to the club, getting a girl drink, sleeping at their place also exists. However, one thing that's slightly awkward at Cambridge is that it's very small and a lot of people know each other. The typical size for your year group in your college can range from the smallest, like Peterhouse, from like around 80 undergrads, to the largest, like Trinity or Johns, which are around 170 or 180. And that means that word can spread pretty fast, especially when your flatmates on the other side of the door can hear you. So you might think you're bringing a girl home for one night, that's over and done with, had a great time, never see you again. Then you wake up and then in your lecture, sitting across you, not so far away, is that girl. And then, oops, everyone from their college now knows, and they'll be like, oh my god, it's the Homerton girl. So that's something to keep in mind with. Not saying that, you know, Hinge is very, very popular here. Tinder is sometimes used, but not so much. So, with all that kind of bad news, dating in Cambridge sounds quite rough, but it really isn't. A lot of people who start dating in the second term, which is what we call Lent, end up, I mean, this is news, right? Like, whoa, getting to know someone slowly over time in a less intense period than Freshers Week means you technically normally have a longer relationship and a healthier one at that. So yeah, relationships can and do happen at Cambridge. They just oftentimes look a little bit different than they do anywhere else. For example, some of my friends, going to the library with your boyfriend or your girlfriend is a date. You know, going to the buttery or the cafeteria with your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner is a date. You know, sometimes you're just both cramming for some supervision work. That's a date. Walking between college and your lecture, that's a date. It's just a little bit different because during term time things are just so intense. But what I realized is that while relationships a lot of times aren't in the forefront of people's minds at Cambridge, they very much do exist. And as time has gone on, more people have been dating seriously or have gotten together, and it may look different, but it's just as amazing as having a relationship anywhere else. And it can make exam term and lectures and supervision work so much less stressful. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions or just want to chat, please reach out and I'll do my best to get back to you. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.